The New York Knicks are 4 wins away from capturing their first championship since 1973. Welcome to this episode of Blackout Sports. Make sure you guys hit that like, follow, and subscribe. But let's not wait. Let's go ahead and get into it. Let's get
Blackout.
Like I said, welcome in to this edition of Blackout Sports. Is it a good day to be a Knicks fan or what? Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well as always sound off in the comments. I should be seeing Let's Go Knicks all in the chat as we gear up to face the San Antonio Spurs in a rematch of the 1999 NBA Finals, where we didn't have Patrick Ewing, torn Achilles. We're going into this series totally healthy. Got my guys with me to break it down. Shout out to my guy Ken and Gino. What's going on, guys? How y'all doing today, man?
What's going on? I feel great. Stupendous. It's awesome experience. New York basketball has never been better. It's a great time to be alive.
Honestly, I'm feeling good. I've been itching to get back to talk with my guys right now, preview this matchup and talk the excitement of this finals matchup right here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, looks like we're in for an amazing series. The San Antonio Spurs went 7 games with the Oklahoma City Thunder, showing some heart and some grit, winning the last 2 games of that series. Just a real quick question for you guys. Who did you guys want, and who did you guys expect to come out of the Western Conference now that we have our final opponent for our final destination to try to get this thing done?
You can check on camera. I said I wanted Minnesota, but I expected San Antonio.
And if you guys remember what I said, I wanted the Spurs, and I expected the Spurs. This is exactly the matchup I was calling for. This is the matchup I wanted for us.
Yeah, I feel right now very confident with this. This is a very doable, especially because it went to Game 7 like I wanted.
And what about you, Matt? I don't want to skip over. Was this what you wanted, or what did you expect?
I wanted the Oklahoma City Thunder, man.
Okay,
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you because I knew they were soft. You made a great point about them in Game 5, bro, or Game 4, whatever. When they just laid down and they were only down 20, it was alarming to both me and you. Where it was like, what, they taking their foot off the gas? Don't they know these young bulls trying to get to the chit? I thought it was a little cocky from them to do that.
Yep.
And in my opinion, it kind of bit them in the tail. And then we saw the San Antonio Spurs be able to do what I thought the New York Knicks would be able to do to that team, is without Jalen Williams. We could talk about A.J. Mitchell another day. I don't think he's as big of a piece as people are making him out to be. But just not having Jalen Williams on that court, I figured that the Knicks would have no issue with Oklahoma City, in my opinion. So I was leaning towards them, but the Spurs still are a better matchup. The New York Knicks have fared very well against the San Antonio Spurs. I do believe they have a 22-point differential when it comes to facing the San Antonio Spurs this season. Regular season, I don't count it, so I'm not going to count that. I will be fair. But the New York Knicks are in a great position to capture their NBA Finals. So let's go ahead and break this series down. Ken, let's start with you. What are your expectations, without giving away your prediction, just what are your expectations for the New York Knicks in this series with how they're performed?
I think that we're gonna come out the gate. The offense is gonna flow how it's been. Think we won't start running through Cat until they show us what they're willing to do. If they're gonna just blitz Brunson like every other team has attempted, straight out the gate in Game 1, then we'll settle with what they give us. Do believe that this will be closer matchups. These will not be the blowouts we've seen. This is a very good San Antonio team, but I still stick with the facts. The Knicks are on a tear whenever we keep opponents within that 98 to 104 range that I'd love to mention. That we keep them within that point range, we are on a tear. We because even when teams slow us down, even if they slow us down for 130 point margin of points that we love to put up, if they slow us down to 120, that's still 120 to 104 at best. And I like those odds there, right? So but won't give my predictions, yes, just yet. But like I said, that's how I'm feeling, and I'm feeling that this will be a bench, like the bench and the role players will make the difference between these two teams. The household names are going to play their games. We know what performance they're going to do. They came into this matchup for that, right? It's the X factors, the guys who we're going to name in that section. Those are the guys that they're going to play big. They're going to make a difference for everybody.
Okay, Gino.
Well, I think more or less, pretty much along the lines of Ken, where it's going to be more of a tighter set of games. But I think we're probably going to see a differential between like 15 points. Like they're going to win every game by like 15 if they're going to win. I don't think. I think they might get one close game, but I see the Knicks. See the Knicks are winning in 5 games. I think game three is going to be a tough game for them. Maybe game four, game three, game four. And I think a lot of it, there's two factors. I'll get into that later where it's kind of shifts the way the players have been playing and things like that. But it's matchup wise, I think we got them. We've had their number throughout the season. But again, Wemby's on the tear to like kind of correct his past wrongs. So we'll see how that goes.
Can I take a moment to be vulnerable real quick?
Of course.
Have some quick truth.
Yep.
I've had nightmares about this NBA Finals for the past 3 nights. I don't know. I don't know what it is, man. Like I'm dead ass. I'm not kidding. I've had nightmares about this NBA Finals for the past 3 nights, man. And Gino, you may be shocked to hear this, but the more I think about this series, the more I'm along the lines with you. I think the New York Knicks should either sweep the San Antonio Spurs and get them out of here in 5. I really believe that. We'll get into the matchups and everything like that, but we have to remember who the San Antonio Spurs have played over the course of this postseason. Like, you beat Portland. Okay, cool. Then they beat the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves were hurt. Anthony Edwards wasn't himself. Julius Randle was a no-show. He was basically Chet from last season. So that's comparable with Oklahoma City. Dante DiVincenzo, not a star, but a lot of people I think don't really understand the importance of Dante DiVincenzo, especially with his ball handling, his shooting, his IQ, his defense for that team, for them to not be able to go that deep in the bench with guys like Dusumu, even though he played well. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a lot of players on that bench that you usually wouldn't have to see if Dante DiVincenzo was healthy. So that's another point. Then they go against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Jalen Williams is hurt. AJ Mitchell goes out during the course of that series. And even though Oklahoma City is deep, I don't know if you noticed this, but most of the guards they put in are really small. So it's kind of easy for them to bully their guards and their wings because they're not physically strong. They're kind of like along the shorter range. Caruso, Case and Wallace, the Mitchells, AJ Mitchell, all of them. They're smaller. You know what I'm saying? So they can bully them. They're not going to be able to bully the New York Knicks. Period. That's not happening. The New York Knicks have a lot more size, have a lot more strength, have a lot more toughness than what the San Antonio Spurs have dealt with over the course of these playoffs. And I feel like it's going to be a shock if San Antonio feels like they're going to bully this New York Knicks team to an NBA championship. And they might get them out of here in 5. I really might believe that. Anybody want to add on? Or can what's your opinion on that? So me and Gino say that they can get them out of here in 5. I'm being nice, by the way.
So here's where I say I'm on the train. I could be on the train with you guys. I'm gonna be Gino this time around, right? And you're gonna hear me give some praise to the Spurs team, right? Which I don't normally come on here and give praise to the opposing teams. I don't. I tend to say like we're packing them up and we're getting them out of there. This is a young team that has shown heart, that has shown hunger, shown to be scrappy, and Wemby is out. He knows he's young. Korea's young. He doesn't need to cement a legacy just yet, or start making this huge case where he's defending a legacy. But he wants to like shut up naysayers. I don't see them just rolling over, right? Like, can it still happen in 5? Maybe, yeah, but with a fight. Like I will actually predict at least one overtime game.
Just one overtime game? You
Just
predict the overtime game?
at least one. And I'm calling that, like Gino said, possibly game 3.
Okay.
And not because of the travel or anything. I think that they understand the hostility that the Garden is, and it is the Garden, and they're gonna try and push us to the brink. Yeah, at home. The first game at home. And that's where we're gonna have to dig in our heels and be like, nah, we gotta defend home court. And you're not gonna come in here and try and smack us first game in the Garden, right? It's gonna go overtime, and then point differential will be what it is, right? But I think that game 3 is what's gonna be an OT game. And if it happens, I'm Nostradamus out here. Like, call it, right? Like, but that's truly how I feel. I think that if it does happen, it's not gonna be smooth sailing. I don't think the series will at all be smooth sailing. They will fight. If we break it open at any point in time, those first 3.5 quarters will be a dog fight.
Can I give you a little pushback?
Yeah, go ahead. Of course.
All right, here's the reason why I hear all that, and all that would usually be true. All right, but here's a difference of the two teams, in my opinion. This is just my opinion. I could be totally wrong. I could be reading too much into it.
Totally right.
But here's just from what I see. Okay, if you compare the wins and the reactions to the wins, right? When you look at the San Antonio Spurs when they won the Western Conference Finals, what did you see?
Oh yeah, like extremely, like it was like they won it all. Yeah,
Wemby's on the court crying.
Yep,
they're throwing hugs, celebrating. Okay, and when the New York Knicks won, what did you see?
Oh, business wasn't done.
Josh Hart had to get moved.
Yeah, like it wasn't over. It's not over yet. Like this isn't what we were playing for. I saw that. I completely agree with you. Right. Like,
okay, and I'll ask you one more question. I'm not done. Let me ask you one more question. When we thought about the San Antonio Spurs before this playoff run began, what did we think was going to be the one thing to hold them back from winning the championship this year?
Inexperience, youth.
It finally showed.
Right there.
It finally showed their youth by them celebrating the way they did, like they won a championship. That's why I say they'll probably, honestly, what I think is going to happen in game 1 is that they'll try to punch the Knicks in the mouth in game 1, and then it's the same old Knicks. The Knicks dominate the rest of the game. And I think that leads towards the rest of the series. Maybe the San Antonio Spurs could win game 2. I see that with them being a little bit more focused, having a little bit more rest, seeing what this New York Knicks team is going to be, especially when it comes to Mitchell Robinson, if he's going to be able to be effective or anything like that. I'm pretty sure you guys got some comments on Mitchell Robinson. We'll get to those after the matchups. But that was the first time I saw their youth. So it kind of made me like really sit back like, all right, well, the team is talented. They have proven us wrong so far. But usually when you've seen teams do that, they don't win the whole thing. And if you tie them in with them being a young, experienced team compared to this New York Knicks team who has been battle-tested for the past 3 seasons, it's locked in, focused on one goal, that gave me reason to believe that the New York Knicks can steamroll him. I see a weakness there. And Ken, you know me, usually when I see a weakness, usually that's the weakness that kills that team. And that's what I saw from the San Antonio Spurs. Gino, you got anything to say before we roll on the matchups?
Yeah, I kind of disagree with some aspects of that.
I'm not surprised.
Nah, just like I want to. There's something I always pay attention to when it comes to like some of the international players, and like Wemby has always been very responsive to like French international sports and French teams. When French teams do really well, The following few games, he's locked in and focused. PSG just won the Champions League out there. He's locked in right now. He just beat Czech. He's locked in right now. I don't think it's going to be so much as like they're trying to punch the Knicks in the face. I think we're going to see a Superman performance from Wemby, and it's just going to be the rest of the team collapse around him. Like he's going to have probably the greatest series we've ever seen out of somebody in their first NBA play and NBA Finals. But I don't think it's going to be so much as they're going to be aggressive and the youth is going to show. I just think it's literally going to be more so the lack of experience, not so much dumb plays, just unused to that environment, if that makes sense.
That kind of
that's
plays.
The only difference.
That kind of plays exactly in the.
No, not so much youth. No, because youth is more like the jovialness of it. I think it's more just this is some of their first. Some of them just don't have that high level experience. This is their first time. Not so much as far as just them being like youthful players, if that makes sense, being young guys or even being veterans. Like it's more so they just don't have that finals experience. You could have people like James Harden, who's only played at one finals. He doesn't have finals experience even in those finals because he never has shown up in those finals, if that makes sense. Well, I wouldn't call him youthful. I would just still call him inexperienced in the finals. Like
you sure you're not arguing just to be arguing? Because that to me that sounds like that sounds like the same thing. Like it, like if you disagree with the point that they were over jovial, cool, but you trying to say that they're not young players?
No,
they are young players.
Them being young and being energetic and being excited that they won isn't going to be the issue. I think honestly, Wemby is going to have a phenomenal series. I think it's really going to be where it's them being in like how you said, as far as the loud noise of MSG, the loud noise of their actual home stadiums actually affecting their play, not so much them making bad plays, kind of just aimlessly looking around. Not like that. Like there's players like, for example, Devin Booker. First time he went to fight, he looked lost out there, completely out of it. That right there, I would say that's somebody who looks inexperienced. There's then when you have like Steph Curry's first final experience, he looked youthful and super excited when he won the Western Conference Finals. They looked super elated. And when they came to their experience, they were still very inexperienced. It was just they were super energetic and hype, and also playing a very decimated team that they could actually outplay due to their youth. That's what I'm saying. I don't think their youth is going to be the major factor. I think it's going to be just the team just isn't going to be ready for that environment.
So just the inexperience, right? It's what's going to be. Well, if that's what you're trying to say, just the inexperience is what's going to, hold them back for the most part, right? Like the lack of
environmental experience, not so much like gameplay experience. If that
makes sense. Exactly, like the lack of the moment, like they've never been in this moment. So yeah, the lack of finals experience, for lack of being in this moment before.
That's exactly
about the same thing.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
No, I'm saying
you further explained it, but that's exactly what I'm saying.
I didn't hear that part. I apologize.
Yeah, break it down, bro. You smart. Break it down. Like that's what you did a good job breaking down my point. Thank you, my guy. Let's get into these matchups, man. So we know that the Spurs have a tandem of guards that can play great defense. Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, Julian Champagne, Keldon Johnson when he's off the bench. Of course, Victor Wembanyama, Defensive Player of the Year. Harrison Barnes whenever he's in there. They have these plethora of players that they can throw at Jalen Brunson. You already know what the narrative is when it comes to how the media is trying to paint the matchups of this series. So, Gino, let's start with you. What do you think the matchups are going to be in this series?
I think, again, we're going to see Mike Brown is going to try and do the regular 1 through 5 first, and then try and make adjustments as they play. I think the Spurs are going to do the same thing because it's always, you don't want to be the person to change for the opening move. You want to make the other person react to your opening move. I think we're going to see they're going to try and incorporate Wemby early. and I think they're gonna try and do a lot of high pick and rolls and try and get switches on defense to get Jalen Brunson on the guy who's trying to score. They're gonna try and make him work on defense to try and keep him off foot on offense. I think that's gonna be like their major go-to. I don't think they're gonna be too worried about Cat, not because Cat's not a good player, but because I think they're gonna put Wemby on him and feel confident like Wemby can contain him as far as his scoring and put him in positions where his rebounding isn't going to be as effective. And I think the people who are going to be the major factors for us are going to be our our wing players and how Jalen goes around defensively.
Ken, anything to add on? Differences? Your
Oh yeah.
matchups?
So my matchups actually. So I think once again, I disagree slightly with Gino. I think the same way we talked about it for the start of the Cavs series. I think the same thing. We just don't waste any time. Like there's no time to waste. It's the finals. We know what the goal is. As a coach, I'm coming in with the game plan. I'm not waiting. I'm not as a chess. I'm just making the opening move, right? Like so I'm going Brunson on Champagne. I'm going um Bridges on Fox. Right. Those are because that's where I'm because Champagne is not somebody that's known to attack the basket much. He definitely likes to sit around that 3 point line, likes to try and hit those shots. Like those shots. That's where I'm hiding Brunson. Um Definitely getting Bridges, who's a lot quicker laterally on Fox. I want a stronger defender like Josh Hart on Castle. I then whoever that next guy is that's not Wemby, that's where Cat is floating around. Because I'm starting with OG. OG is the first body I'm putting on Wemby. OG actually has per data, per 100 possessions while guarding Wemby, the best numbers out of any defender in the NBA. So I'm starting with OG. Starting with OG on Wemby because I don't want Wemby getting. I want him getting tired out. I want him working hard for his positions. He's gonna get his when he gets his, but I want him uncomfortable. I want him working, and that allows for one for OG to start off on him. That allows for switches to get Cat on him. For want Wemby, I want OG mostly on Wemby. So that's how I'm going with those matchups. And to me, that's how we slow them down because like we saw what a Mikael Bridges on a faster offensive player, what that does, and we've seen what Josh Hart on a stronger offensive player like Castle that does. We match them up really well like that. So those are the changes I'd be doing. That's how I come out the gate.
I kind of disagree with both of you.
Okay.
I disagree with the 1 through 5 thing. No, hell no. Like, there's no time to play around and kind of counter. Like, we see what Jalen Brunson looks like when he's on ball handlers like Stephen Castle and De'Aaron Fox. I'm not putting him on them, especially with the way the San Antonio Spurs come out in these first quarters. Like, they come out on fire. That's how they were able to kind of win these series against Oklahoma City is they immediately tried to punch you in the mouth and punk you. Wemby's having like these 6, 8 point, 10 point first quarters, catching alley oops and all of that. I'm not putting Jalen Brunson out there with De'Aaron Fox and Stephen Castle to get easy plays to go to the hole to be able to lob it up for Wemby. I'm not doing that. That I think that's a mistake. If I'm putting Jalen Brunson anywhere, it's going to be like you said, Ken. It's going to be on Julian Champagnie, where Champagnie is just kind of roaming in the corner somewhere where Jalen Brunson can kind of hide out. I agree. I'm putting Mikal Bridges. We saw what he was able to do on Tyrese Maxey. Tyrese Maxey and De'Aaron Fox have a similar kind of game with a similar speed. De'Aaron Fox is more crafty, more willing to get to the paint than Tyrese Maxey can finish with contact. So a longer guy like Mikal Bridges that we've seen be able to handle guards that fast, I want him. Mikal Bridges is excellent at stopping the point of attack. I love the Josh Hart on Stephen Castle. To be perfectly honest with you, I love that. We saw the way he was able to guard CJ McCollum. Now, Stephen Castle is a more physical guard, but he's similar to CJ McCollum in the way they try to get to the hole, how consistently they try to get to the basket. McCollum's a lot better with the handle, lot more craftier, but that's the kind of guy that Josh Hart seems to be able to compare with because they're kind of like the same body type, Stephen Castle and Josh Hart. So that's going to be a battle. It's going to be really interesting to see. I would start off with there. Like I said, I got Brunson on Julius Payne. Ken, you might be surprised with this. I'm putting OG on Devin Vassell. I really am. They put Devin Vassell in a lot of motion. I didn't realize that he was that pivotal to what they do. I kind of thought he was just kind of a corner guy. But Devin Vassell's getting the ball, and he's driving just as much as Stephen Castle is, getting kickouts, rebounds, things like that. We've seen Vassell be able to get 4 or 5 rebounds in the game. Great defensively. Vassell goes to the hole pretty physically. I would put OG Anunoby on him. I still want him to primarily guard Victor Wembanyama, though, later in the game. Let's see what Karl-Anthony Towns got, bruh. Like, that's where I agree with Gino, where that's the matchup that I would leave the same as leave Karl-Anthony Towns on Victor Wembanyama because he has the height, and most importantly, he has the physicality to be able to deal with Victor Wembanyama. Like, Victor Wembanyama, he's skilled, but he's not a Joel Embiid that could get Cat into a lot of foul trouble. He's not a Nikola Jokic that could get Karl-Anthony Towns in a lot of foul trouble. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, he's not that type of physical presence to where I would be super worried about Karl-Anthony Towns getting in foul trouble on Victor Wembanyama immediately. We've seen Karl-Anthony Towns be able to hold his own against Victor Wembanyama in the past. So I would roll with that first. I would see what Cat got. Let Cat deal with his physicality, because on the other end, I don't know if they're going to try to put Victor Wembanyama on Josh Hart. Maybe they try to do that. I don't know if that's what they're going to do. I think Vic will try to actually guard Karl-Anthony Towns, and they try to deal with Josh Hart in a different way due to the versatility of their wings and their guards. They might be able to, handle the switches of Josh Hart better just playing that straight up. But then when you come to the other side of that, where Victor Wembanyama has to guard Karl-Anthony Towns has the ability to wear down Victor Wembanyama during the game, and that's where OG comes in to shut it down immediately. That's where I like the OG Anunoby and Victor Wembanyama lineup. Anybody got anything to say? Gino, let's go with you.
Like I always say, I really don't think they're going to change up too much initially. I think they're going to do switches and stuff, but I think the first 2-3 minutes is going to be straight up 1 through 5, playing 1 through 5. And the reason
can we put this in the chat?
Hold on.
Before you go, can we establish it so there's no confusion? Because we went through this, so there's no confusion. So, because last time it was a turnover, I want to avoid that. Stephen Castle's prone to turnovers too. So before you even go there, my bad, but I just wanted to establish something real quick. That the lineup that we're going to see without switching, before we even get to the switches, is going to be Jalen Brunson guarding Stephen Castle, Mikal Bridges guarding De'Aaron Fox. No, so actually, Jalen Brunson will be guarding De'Aaron Fox. Mikal Bridges will be guarding Stephen Castle, and then vice versa. So that's what you're expecting. That's what when the tip off goes.
Yeah, that's how I'm expecting it. That's how I'm expecting it. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. I think they're going to make reactionary changes as the game progresses. But to say like off bat, like Ken, I agree with Malik, where it's like what you said sounds very tantalizing as far as the numbers go. But I'm going to look at it like, hey, do I want to wear down OG immediately, quarter 1 through 4? Or do I want to put him playing defense on Wemby when it's most effective? Not to say that he wouldn't be effective through the whole game, but stopping somebody at 27 and keeping them from going to like 37 is very different than forcing somebody to work their way to 32. And it's a tough 32 for them. So it's like, hey, you can be having a great first half, and then someone's like, We did that switch. You off now. That's done. But you're tired. We can now play you to the advantage where OG's skill set has better advantages against you. But this is kind of what I mean, where I say I think the switches are going to happen reactionary, where it's like the Knicks need to see how they're being attacked. But if the Knicks are going on a 10-0 run, I don't really like, and it's not to say like defense doesn't matter, but making switches when you're running transition, when it's just half, like, I'm just lobbing it up. Wemby's just bouncing on both sides of the logo. He's not doing stuff. The 1 through 5 doesn't really matter at that level.
Yeah.
That's what
we're nitpicking. We're playing with you.
Right.
Like we understand. We understand your
the Knicks
point.
are going to have a very dynamic offensive motion. I think they're going to try and do some similar shades of what they did with the 76ers, because it's like you have a big who can block. He can shoot. He can get around. He can post. I think they're going to do a lot of pick and rolls, again, try and get Wemby isolated, where when he's moving through the paint to try and get somewhere on defense, you can bring Jalen and just catch a charge. You can bring somebody and get where Wemby's bumping and moving awkward in order to get a foul, and you make him play out of position, but you make him work for every little bit he gets. But the thing is, and this is where it's like, you guys don't watch European sports as much as I do in the same way, because every French person right now is wilding. Wow. Like, you know how everyone in New York is a different level of hype right now because the Knicks have won? That's how they are in France. They are turned up. I'm worried Wemby's going to bring that type of energy, because is a double level of elation where he could just suddenly be like, yo, everybody else is tired, but I'm going for 40 tonight. I got to do it big for France. That type of vibe. That's my major concern.
I will feel you, but he's not in France. He's not in France. This ain't the Olympics. He ain't in France. The minute he steps in Madison Square Garden, ain't gonna be none of that. Hey, let's do it for France. And France ain't gonna be in the building in Madison Square. That's not happening. Maybe San Antonio, but I even doubt that. But before, let's do a soft reset. Salute to everybody tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. Got a couple comments to read. Shout out to our guy Renzo for tuning in. Says he was at the gym, wanted to chop it up. He said, man, no lie, and YNs from Spurs are going to walk into a rude awakening in Game 3 at MSG. Salute, Shaq. He says they all still on rookie contracts. Fox the only dude on an actual NBA contract. Also, if you look at Wemby's career, he's been a lot of important games with Olympics going against USA. I doubt he's going to miss a beat for real. Agrees with Gino. He said he disagrees with Ken. OG on who? Hell nah, barbecue chicken. Y'all better throw. He agrees with the cat thing. So salute to Renzo. Got our guy Los in here on the matchups. He said it'll be a mix of OG and Mitch on Wemby. Still got to find out about Mitch. Still got to hear about Mitch to make sure that he's healthy. We'll get into that in a second. I think, but ultimately he's going to get his regardless. We can stop the others with our wings, and offensively, if they have an answer for JB, we can play 5 out, and we got shooters. I ain't worried. I want to touch on something before we get to the Mitchell Robinson thing about these matchups, of like how I think the New York Knicks can capitalize. I agree. I don't think they can stop Wemby, but I believe they can stop everybody else. So this is the rare occasion where you'll hear me say this. If Wemby wants to go get 40, you let Wemby go get 40. But Steven Castle, Devin Vassell,
12.
They get nothing. You hold them to under double figures if you have to, because obviously there's no matchup for Wemby. But when you look at, that's why I said OG. I kind of don't want OG on Wemby early. I don't want that, because when people get in trouble with the San Antonio Spurs is Wemby's going off, and then that gives momentum to Steven Castle, and then that gives momentum to Devin Vassell. He's hitting threes in the corner. Julian Champagne's doing what he needs to do. That team loves the gang rebound, by the way. It's not just Wemby grabbing 15 boards a night. It's still De'Aaron Fox getting 5 rebounds. It's still Steven Castle getting 4 to 8 rebounds a night. Julian Champagne is a rebounding machine. And trust me, I bet He's a rebounding machine. It's really shocking to see the way that Julian Champagny can rebound. So I'm kind of with Los. Now, I'm not saying just let Wemby do whatever he wants to do and then we get a Wilt Chamberlain game. I'm not saying that. But my focus, if I'm the New York Knicks, is to limit the other guys. Because Wemby's a generational talent. I agree with you, Gino. I say that he's not in Paris and everything like that. But Wemby has a killer mentality. So I expect him to not show immaturity or youngness other than like his play, like a dumb play or dumb foul or something because of the moment. Other than that, I expect Wemby to be locked in. I'm worried about the other guys, the Stephen Castles who don't have that talent, the Devin Vassell's that don't have that talent, because all of them feed off of Wemby. So if you let Wemby just be Wemby, not go too crazy, not 60 a game, but if he's going to give you 30 and 12, but Stephen Castle's only giving you 12 points, De'Aaron Fox, he's not totally healthy either. He's only giving you like 8 points. We've seen Devin Vassell actually look like a ghost. I don't know if you guys noticed this, look like a ghost in both away closeout games against the Oklahoma City Thunder. Couldn't shoot at all in OKC when the pressure was highest. I can only imagine what it's going to be like for him in Madison Square Garden. So that's where I'm saying. Does anybody else have a retort or want to add on to that before we move on to this Mitchell Robinson thing?
I also noticed this too, because this is something I always found very unique, is like the Spurs were one of the first teams to switch from doing crash outs on offensive rebounds to immediately cutting back into transition. They're also one of the teams to completely flip back now, where they're like the entire 4 out of the 5 collapse almost immediately into the paint, while one person outlet straight to the logo. Not like off to the side, like dead center to the logo. To like that's to their beeline. Like, hey, I gotta go right there just so I can space to try and cut the transition. Very ingenious and almost insidious the way it's done. Like that's something also like I feel like the Spurs don't get a lot of credit for, is that they do a lot of these soft plays and soft skill transitions that really feed into facilitating their star players. They've done this as an organizational talent. It's something that just has to be recognized. That was all.
Ken?
No, I have nothing to add. I think that Gino was great breaking down just how the Spurs have thrived throughout the years and shown even with this season just how they implement and force players back into the fundamentals, things that we don't really see sometimes get done at the pro level. Something as simple as crashing and spacing and getting into the right position after you do such a thing. So no, that was good.
All these analytical takes. We're in the NBA Finals and we can't be fans. Y'all giving the San Antonio Spurs credit. It's real disgusting. I'm not gonna hold. No, what you mean don't do that? What you mean don't do that? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. Like, what are you talking about? You haven't heard me give the Spurs credit not one time. I could give you analytic takes without giving them credit, bro. It's not the Finals. I ain't giving them credit for nothing. I don't care that they got here. I wanted Oklahoma City to be here. They lucky we gonna smoke them. That's my opinion. They getting out of here. Don't care about what the Spurs have done.
I gave a nice breakdown of how to keep Wemby out the paint and how to get fouls drawn on Wemby. I have to acknowledge that these Spurs have a certain skill set.
No, you don't.
To make proper analytics of like, hey, this is how you beat this skill. This is how you attack this. This is how you need. These are the ways that you should be approaching the system. You got it.
I did say
caliber of the bullet. That's an automatic requirement. You can't shoot the gun if you don't know the caliber of the bullet. Don't do nothing.
I did say I was going to come in here on my Gino status, giving the Spurs a little credit. I don't.
It's acknowledging skill sets.
It's disgusting.
I wanted Minnesota because I told Ken this, that it would be a better story for the Knicks to beat Minnesota just because of who's on Minnesota and who's on the Knicks. I already knew the NBA was gunning for this matchup. This was already a given matchup from the minute the Cup game was set.
It was like,
oh yeah, this is going to happen. It was because the Knicks robbed the NBA of the European investment with Wemby. We took the cup from them, and the way we took it wasn't like, oh, this is just a night. It's like, no, we beat them twice in a row. on a regular season game and then the cup game, and it was just like, yo, oh no, these were decisive wins. It wasn't like this was a close matchup. It was close in a couple quarters.
Plus 22.
The Knicks can beat them, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I think we're going to have a 15-point spread on every game, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have close quarters, and it doesn't mean we're not going to have to make adjustments. I just don't think. I think Wemby's going to have like a killer second half, not second half, second quarter, and then the Knicks are going to look and be like, all right.
That was it. That was it, yo.
That's it.
That's my same thing, bro. I think exactly that.
Hey, we're gonna hit it. Hey, yo, bench players, you're coming up. All your goal is to make sure when you set the screen, I want you to flex hard. Make sure when he runs into you, he feels he's a paperweight. Make him have to go through you on screens. When he has to cut around you, to make sure he has to step and hook you in order to get the box out. And that's what I'm saying. I think that's the stuff where the Knicks are going to win. And it's not just them doing it to him. It's that once they start doing it to him, they're going to start doing it to everybody. And when they do it to everybody, that's when it's something to be like, oh, Wemby had 39 and 12 and 7 blocks, and then the Fox went 4 for 14. Like it's going to be stuff like that.
See, that's Ken. Ken, I don't disagree with you that it can be like a close series. It can be like an overtime. Like if you look at the talent and you kind of look at this series from the numbers and all of that, you can't come to that conclusion, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing about the New York Knicks, right? That we've seen over the postseason. Shout out to Renzo. I know why you're laughing. Yeah, shout out. But I've seen every team try to punch the Knicks in the mouth this week. It's been almost every game because the New York Knicks have had so much momentum that I've seen every team try to punch the Knicks in the mouth, be up 10, 15, 20. And I think the New York Knicks have built up this level of resolve that when the San Antonio Spurs do that, especially with them going 7 games against Oklahoma City, because even though they kind of punked Oklahoma City, they were still physical with all of them, okay? Especially Victor Wembanyama. I think for the first or second quarter, like Gino said, Victor's going to go off, and they're going to proverbially punch the Knicks in the mouth, have a lead, and then the Knicks are going to look at each other and be like, that's all you got? It's like a bully. When you finally face a bully and then you're not scared of him, he's still whooping your ass. But you look at him and you be like, that's not enough. That's all you got. And then they wilt after that. So that's where I'm talking about. That's where the experience comes in. That's where the youth comes in. Because for most part, if we're going to be perfectly honest, if you look at last series, other than Game 7, anytime they kind of threw a haymaker at Oklahoma City, they folded. They're not going to do that to this New York Knicks team. That's not happening. So just an intangible off the court when it comes to mentality for this New York Knicks team is why I think the New York Knicks can get them out of here a lot earlier. And I don't believe, for whatever reason, I could be dead wrong, but for whatever reason, I don't believe this is going to be a close series. I don't. I
already said 5 games, so I can't argue with you.
Exactly. So what are you arguing for? You're arguing, you see? You're arguing just to be arguing. We're both at 5 games.
I'm saying I agree with you. That's an argument to you.
Hopefully it isn't. Hopefully it isn't 5 games because I'm trying to get back to the crib quick. Get back to the crib. When's the parade? Do we know? Is it like a week out or something after the finals? I need to know so I could, make my plans to come back to celebrate. Y'all going to the parade? Y'all, we gonna link up?
I'll be there.
Go to the parade, link up. Okay, all right. That's all.
It's gonna be. We're not are we at predictions yet? We're not, or what?
No, we ain't there yet.
We ain't there yet.
So this is fan talk. This is fan talk.
Listen, you guys know how I've been rocking the whole playoffs. I've been pretty damn close with every single.
The Carl Anthony Towns and Lowe's thing. I just remembered. What? Yeah, the Carl Anthony Towns and Lowe's thing. I remember. Hey.
right?
Got some receipts. Got some receipts to hand out for sure.
So, listen, I've been pretty good with it. Been pretty good with it. I do think it'll be a lot closer than we think. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair. That's the fair point. Like if I wanted to
That's
put on my
me
analyst hat, that'd
That's
be
me
the stick.
tempering it down exactly. And I will say, and I almost wanted to validate you, right? When you said you had those nightmares, you want to know what it is coming from my intro psych, right? My intro psych. It's because we're Knicks fans, Malik, and we're so used to the other shoe hitting the floor, bro. That's why you've been having nightmares.
Yeah, because you know why? Because like it's crazy because like I'm saying this like I know I'm bringing up the fan thing.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all know me. If I say something, I really do believe that. I really do believe the Knicks can get them out of here in 5. Like I really do believe that. So there's this other side of me that's like, yeah, they could thump the Knicks in 4 too. Like that's in the back of my head. Like the New York Knicks could totally crumble for whatever reason because they're the Knicks. That's the pain. That's the trauma. I don't know. I don't think that's gonna happen at all. I really don't. We'll get to predictions.
That's what we call that.
But
PTSD.
that's that PTSD where it's like we in the finals, man.
For you, because you guys, I don't think anybody's realized this. This is the first time that the Knicks have been healthy in playoffs since before the 90s.
Except for the one guy we got to talk about.
No, but just hear me out. This is what I'm saying. This is the first time we played an entire playoff run. Remember, Mitch got hurt after we finished playing. Like so that doesn't even count. Like as far as in-game injuries and stuff, like we've been healthy. We had OG get injured a little bit. He came back, right? And we've swept every team. We've had time to recover between games. We've been playing in a microcosm of we play 4 games. We play for a week, have half a week off. Play for a week, have half a week off. Play for a week. And it's just like now, it's like, look, this is it. Our guys are healthy. Mitch, we'll talk about Mitch, but the Spurs aren't healthy right now. I think that's where we're going to win, is that they're going to be gassed. They played long series the entire playoffs. They played physically demanding series, and they haven't been able to get teams packed up the way they should for the caliber of players that they are. Now, I'll give them a pass for OKC because OKC is a previous champion. That's last year's champion. But they struggled in games they shouldn't have struggled in. And that's kind of the problem. The Knicks had 2 games they struggled in. And it was like I said, but like you hear me say this all the time. I look at the defense, I'm like, oh, the Knicks are playing fine defense. I'm not worried about that. Oh, they're shooting bad tonight. We're gonna lose by 5. And to caveat off of what Ken said earlier, too, again, it's that point spread. We'll keep them in 104, but if we're having a bad shooting night, we're going to shoot, 4 for 14 beyond the arc? 4 for 15?
Yeah, it's usually around 27, in between 27 and 30% when they have a bad shooting night, yeah.
And then we're just out the game. And but again, the reason why we won is because when we start shooting bad, we stop shooting threes and start driving. So I'm hoping that type of stuff goes on. It's things like that.
Yeah. Ken, you had a quick rebuttal? You said you had. Just make it real quick.
Yeah, real quick. I just want to point out, they struggled in games they maybe shouldn't have in the West. San Antonio. Want to say that also. That is things for them to learn. They learned from that too. So that's not.
Are we still giving San Antonio credit?
Let's not underestimate what those young bucks might have learned from those bad games.
I thought we was past this. I thought we was past this.
Like I said, I was on my Gino status.
I crashed out already. I thought we was past that. I agree. I agree. I hear what you're saying, Ken. They deserve. It's not. They deserve their respect. Okay, they just beat a defending champion. All right. Now, you want me to? Can we be honest? I blame Chet. That was Chet's fault. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like,
Yes.
like if like, yo,
Yes.
Chet was nowhere to be found. Like,
Chet didn't want to be there.
then
He got dunked on.
you're not going to find that guy on the New York Knicks. Like, he's not. Ain't nobody going to get pumped that much to where you're LeBron James against the Dallas Mavericks, and you don't want to. He shot the ball twice in Game 7.
You know who he reminded me of? Chet reminded me of the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh my God!
Wemby dunked on him early in the first quarter, and he turned into the Gabs. His life left his body. His soul left him. Like,
Yeah, it is so crazy.
Like, and it was done.
Yo, I'll tell you right now, that Cavs series pissed me off. Not because I wanted them to win, but it was just like, yo, it's like watching a coach just do dumb stuff the whole series. It's like, yo, my mans, why aren't you giving it to the people who helped you win last series? Like, nah, don't worry. James Harden got us. Keep on shooting, boy. like, yo, Chet, the way Chet just shirked and disappeared, it was just like, bro, you act like you didn't get a ring. You act like you haven't won before.
Wemby went like this on him.
Wemby said something in French. He said something in French that he knew. He said something in French that Chet knew. Like some old like French gangster. Like,
so Gino, let me ask you, because we talked about this in the chat. So who does Wemby really have issues with? Is it
Shot? I think I'm keeping a buck. Like listen. Hold on. And I get what you guys are saying. There's a certain level of, all right, who are the international stars in the NBA right now?
I get it.
We know who they are.
Shot, yeah.
Shot, right? Mm-hmm. This is what I'm saying. He's been dominating Shy's team this year. He's had Shy on the news saying like, nah, look, we gotta beat him. If we can't beat him, we can't call ourselves better. And Wemby's been using that, like I said, there's two teams that he wanted on the West Coast: Minnesota, OKC. OKC was, if he beats OKC, he is now the best player in the West, period. End of discussion. Not like there's a chance of it. Not like there might be some there's still it's like, no. I beat the best player, not position, best player on the West Coast.
See, that's where we differ. That's what me and Ken differ from you. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like you're more so looking towards it as a legacy competitive thing in between him and Shea, which is why you think that he has more smoke for Shea than he has for Chet, which will be accurate. You know what I'm saying? Which will be accurate. That's not that's
somebody who's not like, he's not a factor of playing. He's like, it's not like, oh, he's in the game and they're battling back and forth. He's actually trying to do something on the other side of the ball. He's not doing anything. So saying that he has smoke for somebody who's not appearing in the game doesn't make sense.
Yes, it does. It makes perfect sense.
No.
What are you talking about? It makes perfect sense, because the reason why Chet isn't in the game is because Wemby had smoke for him. That's the reason. It's not. You just said it yourself. Chet has won a championship. He doesn't shrink in small moments.
No, he has before. This is not the first time. I'm saying he acting like he hasn't.
But he hasn't done that for that long in the series. That's because of Wemby and the pressure he felt from Wemby's hate. That ain't nothing to do with Shea, because Shea was able to rise above that and still perform. It wasn't the normal 35 Shea, but Shea was still able to give them anywhere from 18 to 25 points. Shea wasn't a no-show. That's what we're trying to tell you, is that the smoke in between real smoke, let me finish, because it's not a competitive thing with Shea. There's no personal animosity from Victor towards Shea. That's competitive animosity. There's two different things. He has personal animosity against Chet Holmgren. That's who has the battery in Chet's back. While yes, Wemby is super competitive, you already heard me say, he has a killer mindset. Yes, he's going to look at any star player, especially if they're international, USA, whatever. Wemby wants the throne. That's clear. That's not the case with Chet Holmgren. Regardless of how you feel about Chet Holmgren as a talent, regardless of how you feel Chet Holmgren has performed in previous playoff series, regardless of all of that, Wemby has real personal ire with Chet Holmgren. It's been widely reported. I didn't pull this out of my ass. There's been people closest to Vic who has came out and said, yeah, he don't like Chet. They're not saying that about Shea. He has no issue personally with who Shea is as a person or the player that he is. He has no issues towards that. The real issue Wemby has with is Chet Holmgren.
Again, saying that he's having personal issues with him, and I'm saying, the question isn't whether or not he has personal issues with him. It's who he has the most smoke for. Right? Am I misinterpreting that? Yes or no?
Yes, because I cleared this up for you in the chat before. I said it's a personal thing.
Right, and I said despite the personal stuff, the player he's more focused on is beating Shy, not beating Chet. He already knows he's better than Chet. The player he's focused on, locked on winning, where it's like I have to make sure I outperform him on every level, is Shy. He don't give a fuck about Chet like that. Chet is a problem. I'm not saying like for Wemby, it's like, nah, I just need to make sure this guy don't get nothing going. But Shy is like, no, I need to make sure he loses this game. I need to make sure he personally is taken out of this game. I need to make sure that no matter how hard he tries, he can't get enough going. Chet's not even trying.
You're explaining. Go ahead. My bad. I'm sorry to interrupt. That's
right.
I'm sorry.
And I'm saying this is the competitive level, right? Where it's like saying, like if you compare like player, like for example, Iverson and Kobe seem like they have smoke with each other. Don't mean that Shaq didn't want to be Iverson too. You feel me? It's like this idea of like saying like, oh, because we're playing, those two play the same position. That's where, and they have personal animosity. That doesn't mean that that's his entire focus when he's playing the game. I'm not focusing on Robin when I'm trying to beat Batman. That doesn't make sense to me.
It should, because Wemby is so good that he's able to do both. Can you?
So here's how I'll put it. I hear what you're saying, right? Nobody's discrediting the fact that he's coming in and he's saying that Wemby wants to be, every time they match up, wants to beat out Shea, right? But the personal smoke, and whether that's gone now that this series happened, and I think it will be. I think he's settled the beef. It's on wax, 7-game series, and on game 7 made him non-existent. But the personal beef was there. To him, winning was the first thing, but number 2 was making sure while he won, he made sure everybody knew Chet wasn't shit. Excuse my French, right? Because when you look at the tape, right, Chet talking crap to him in that U19 game, Chet getting the U19 MVP award, MVP of the whole Olympics was nuts. Especially that last game where Chet, when you go back and see the stats, only had 10 points. Wemby fouled out of that game at the end, but had double the points, had eight rebounds, 8 blocks that game and didn't get it. He felt slighted. So he definitely came into the series like, nah, we need to win this series. Not just because I am trying to be the face of the international basketball. Yes, I want to beat Shea. But that dude right there, chess mix, whatever you want to call him, I'm dropping him. So that's why that game 7 right now, best believe he went to the little black book and checked off.
Check them off.
He got a line put right through him. Done. You know those memes that go through Facebook with the Grim Reaper? Chet's door is bloody. It's bloody and open.
For real,
like,
bro.
Done. Right? Like Shea, the smoke there is gonna be there every year. Mm-hmm. Chet, done. That was a demon he exercised from his past.
So now, Gino, you might be right. Like,
No, now it's all the smoke for Shea now.
Now it's all the smoke for Shea. But he had to do that. He had to do that to Chet first. Like, yo, Chet, yo, for real, I'm gonna take your title and I'm gonna make sure you look like trash doing that. Like, that was his mindset, bro. Like you're not wrong. Like, nobody's saying you're wrong. Like, you're totally off base. Like, nobody's saying that.
Even look at it better. You think he's not at home enjoying. He's in San Antonio, right, prepping for the Knicks, but every single time he's puts on First Take in Sports Center and they talk about, Chet better learn his favorite food spot in Milwaukee. Chet going to Shanghai. He's enjoying he's recording every single segment that they talk about Chet getting shipped out.
You know the Wolverine meme with him?
Oh, yeah.
You know with him looking at it's Chet's stat line for game 7.
It's gonna be two shots, non-existent. He's just gonna be like,
hell yeah.
Yeah, so that's how I put it. Like, you're not wrong in what you're saying, Gino.
Yeah, you're not wrong, bro.
But he took that it was like he took he took that he took his scalp and took it with him. That's the prize. He's gonna take Shea's scalp as prize, right, on his way out. He got the Western Conference MVP, that trophy, and Chet's scalp tucked away in the jersey.
I feel what you guys are saying. I just, at certain levels, is when you're watching people say stuff, you can see a switch happen. And when you hear Shai talk about Wemby, it's not like how it's kind of like how Ewing would talk about Jordan, or how Ewing or Jordan would talk about Isaiah Thomas before he beat him. Whereas this level of like, is he a better player than you? Well, I mean, I got a chip. I don't know if you say he's a better player than me. I'm the better player. I got a chip. Well, he's beating you. Well, doesn't mean he's a better player than me. I got the chip. That's how Shai sounds. And it's like, that's what I'm saying, where it's like for Shai, it's like, look, I have to beat him or else my last season seems like a fluke. Just like how they talking about Joker seasons right now, where it's like, I'm not Joker, as great as everyone's saying, regular season MVPs and all this with consecutive awards. That hasn't translated into postseason since that one. And that's been a constant trend where we haven't had like repeated champions in a long time. And it seems more like we're having a decade of paper champions where you get one and done. One and done. You don't even make it as a repeat to go to fight for your defending title.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's what I'm saying. I think this was a little bit more personal because it was like for him, it was like we tried to do what Ja Morant was supposed to do. You just couldn't do it for 2 years.
Okay. I would if I had to make a comparison, I would compare it to Israel Adesanya and Alex Poulton. It was level type of shit.
But that's the same thing like Isaiah Thomas and Jordan, where it's like, look, I'm the champ. It's like, yo, but he's beating you other places. Like, yo, but I'm the champion. I'm the champion. You need to be respecting me. It's like, is he better than you? Is he better than you? Let's be real.
I mean, you sound like you're speaking from Shea's perspective, not Wemby's though.
No, I'm saying that's what I'm saying from Shea. That's his perspective on it. Whereas, like, I need to beat him. This is a professional. What I'm saying for Wemby's side of it is Wemby is on the hunt. Wemby's like, I need to beat him to be the man. Not to say that it doesn't matter if you guys think I'm better than him. I need to have the accolade over him to show him the man. That's where Jordan winning his championship, it wasn't just about him getting his first chip. It was about going through Isaiah to get that first chip. That's what made that so much more special.
Okay, let me ask you a question. You play fighting games, right?
Correct. To a certain degree.
Before you get to the boss, who do you fight?
Depends on the game, like depends on the mode, but typically the second best character.
The rival.
Yeah, the second best character.
The rival, right. Same thing.
I mean, yes and no, because they're not in the same position. So it's like, I don't think like they can be rivals, but not at that same level of like where they're going direct head to head. It has to be more on the open court head to head kind of place.
Doesn't it? Never mind. Let's move on. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel, like button. helps us out a lot. And we talked about injuries. We got a little sidetracked. But Mitchell Robinson, question if Mitchell Robinson is going to be healthy. News broke he had a broken pinky. I didn't know if it was on his toe. I didn't know if it was on his hand. Come to find out, he has a broken pinky on his right hand, and from what we're hearing, it is a boxing fracture. Anybody here had a boxing fracture before? Because I've had it. So I'm a little worried because if it was just a pinky, you could tape it, no issue. But how a boxing fracture works is that not only is your pinky broken, but now there's damage inside of your hand.
Yeah,
down here.
One of the metacarpals are broken.
Yep.
Again, it depends on which one he broke. If it's one on the, like, say it's on, like, if it's down here, well, where he broke it will also affect. The closer to the joint depends on stuff.
Yeah, I know. We'll never know. So, like, the Knicks aren't going to give us that information, so we don't know. But you know, we'll lead this into X factors. Is anybody a little bit concerned about Mitch? And here's why I'm concerned: is because there was already a lot about Mitch and how he was feeling his mental health, the things that we've seen on social media. I'm not going to speculate how he got this or if it's a boxing fracture, but I'll be vulnerable here. There's been times where I wasn't mentally in a good place, and that's how I got my boxing fracture. let's keep it real. So my concern with Mitch is not more so the injury, more so than how is Mitch mentally going into the series, and then you add the injury on top of that. Is anybody, Ken, I'll start with you. Are you a little bit concerned with me bringing that up?
I am slightly. I am slightly concerned. More so that I think that if he doesn't get to play, right? If he doesn't get to play, I think that'll put him, like, as a person, right? Like, it's a basketball side. If he's already struggling with that mental health, not being able to take the court, and even if at some point in time he like, let's say Ariel Porty gets those minutes and we see him struggling, he's gonna feel it. He's gonna feel it, knowing that for whatever reason, whatever happens, he's not out there in the moment that he's been waiting for as a Knick, right? To help his team. That's gonna dig deep for him, right? That's the human part of it. The basketball part of it, I'm also worried if he, like, I'm glad that he needs the mixed medical team clearance before taking the court, because I also think if he didn't and it was up to him, he'd take the court just to make sure that he doesn't let the team down and potentially risk himself further injury, where we are potentially trying to keep him to keep on, like, defending this championship next year, right? Like, we can't, like, I get it. The now is important, but we got a deep bench and we could figure it out, right? If you can't play, and if we don't need to risk you, your health for the future seasons is just as important as this championship. We're gonna get this one way or the other.
Gino, can I jump in before I go to you real quick? Just real quick. I don't give a damn about any of that. He needs to play. I don't give a damn about how his hand could be next year, or if we don't have him for amount of time next year. I don't give a damn. How did you get the boxing fracture? How did you get it? Like, you tell us how you got it. Like, if it was just, you bumped your hand on something, I figured y'all had no issue telling us that. Like, this is not me ragging on Mitch about his mental health. I'm not ragging on him because of that. But accountability said, like, even though I had a boxing fracture, I still had to go to work the next day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you still got to be held accountable for your actions. And this is a big moment for New York now. And I've been a huge proponent for Mitchell Robinson getting paid. Damn the apron. Give him his bag. Bro, Gino. Let me finish. He pulled an Amari Stoudemire before the NBA Finals. I I'm not trying to hear how he feels next year, and I do respect him. I do care, but we need this shit. He needs to play. Your response?
My whole rule is to never feel sad for multimillionaires. Like that's it. Like you can't tell me your job is to play an adult game. Now I watch little kids play without breaking their hands. Your job is to be healthy. I'm not saying like, hey, you got stress fractures. Okay, you got knee and impact injuries. Okay, I get it. That's a part of the game. You got back injuries. Okay, hey, I broke my toe. How? I kicked the wall, bro.
Right? What?
I broke my hand. How? Did you fall weird? No, I went bowling, and you bro, stop. You're 7 something. You're this tall. Doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? It's like your job is to the only sport you play is basketball. You're not supposed to be boxing. That's not the sport you do. The sport you do is basketball. You are not built to break your hands. You're built to shoot. You're built to block. So it's just like, yo, bro, I want you. And it for me is Mitch is our rookie. He is our Nick.
Yeah, he is. Longest
He
tenured Nick.
any of the team.
Yep, longest tenured Nick. Facts.
So I understand Ken's view where it's like, look, we want you for the long haul. We believe in you, XYZ. But it's like, yo, you don't beat Jeremy Shockey. Don't get hurt and end up in New Orleans. We could trade you for Zion real quick, bro. Like y'all play the same amount of games.
Gino, right? Like for real, I'm dead ass, Ken. I'm dead ass.
I hear you.
If we find out that he can't play or he's not as effective, and the New York Knicks lose this championship,
Gone.
Because he's gone. He has to go. And I love Mitch, but you got to get out of here.
Gone.
Bro.
They'll bring back Bobby Porter, bro. I'll tell you all.
Right. He's not playing.
Bobby Porter, he played his minutes. He did everything he was supposed to. And more importantly, he didn't come up to the next game with a boxing fracture. That's kind of like the key thing. This is why, like, when people start giving me these arguments about some players, where it's like I always say, being healthy is 90% of the job.
Ken, I'm gonna ask you a question. My bad.
So you have people who have some of these injuries, and it's like this is not only is it a non-basketball related injury, it seems to be a self-inflicted injury. It's very hard for me to feel a certain level of empathy. I've broken my hand. I've broken it many times. I still had to go back to work in the Marines and do my job. There was no like, oh, yo, your hand's broken. Oh, you can't go to war today. It's like, nah. Go do what you're supposed to. Go do what you're supposed to. It's like you guys still do your mission. You gotta go ahead and engage. So there's a certain level of like when I hear these guys talk all this warrior talk, and it's like, all right, cool. Pick up the rifle and go. You bloody, pick up the rifle and go. You can't afford to stop. You need to be just as effective. If your eyes messed up, you better learn how to shoot left-handed. Immediately adapt and overcome. So if Mitch don't play in at least 3 of the games, he gotta go. That's it.
Ken, before I let you go, let me paint you this picture, right? When Amari Stoudemire got to New York before Melo, we was beloved. Mm-hmm. Beloved. Even when he got hurt, still beloved. The minute he punched that fire extinguisher,
it was done.
We never looked at Amari Stoudemire the same.
Mm-hmm.
So, your response?
I know if Mitch doesn't play and we lose this series, it's gonna get looked back on him. It's the same as the what if he would have played will be the same as the Draymond what if. What if Draymond doesn't get suspended and he plays?
You and layup. That's what would be more accurate. Like what if you goes for
but I mean like players doing bringing it upon themselves. Not the Ewing layup. The Ewing layup, like if it goes in, oh my god, right? We're talking about self-inflicted by a player, right? Like when Draymond gets suspended in that series against the Cavs, do they win with him? Yes or no? Like that's a big what if that got left in that series, right? Same thing here. what if? Like, if we lose it, what if? What if Mitch plays? And like you said, and I said it, if there's going to be an overhaul, it'll be the bench. And where's Mitch? In the bench, right? Yes, that's Mitch's one way ticket out. Like like him staying. And honestly, I'll go even further. I think even if we win it and Mitch doesn't play, Mitch is gone. Like, truly being honest with you, cool. The Blockness Monster was great, but this right here might have cemented his one way ticket out, whether we win or not. Truthfully, because this is not what you do right before the most important series of the year.
So that, like, on a year,
right?
Of the century.
Yeah. Hopefully, he saved an old woman or something. You know,
it has to be. That's what I'm praying for.
I would love for it to come out later, like, yo, Mitch Robinson punched the burglar, saved the kid.
Yeah, it has to be. It has to be, bro.
This burglar who set the house on fire before Robin.
If you look at Mike Brown's interview, and he was like, can't answer, and looks at the team rep for the answer, he looks disappointed. So I don't think it was anything heroic. I think it was truly Mitch doing something dumb, because Mike did not look pleased.
He didn't.
He looked very, very disappointed. And they're gonna be mum about it, of course, to protect him while this, because we also know the Knicks fan base, right? If it comes out that it was him doing some dumb shit, they're gonna come at him crazy on social media. So I think that the being mum about it is to protect him. It was not anything great.
The boy's gonna throw a chopped cheese at his truck, man.
Yeah,
all bad, bro. Like,
they're leaving his truck on cinder blocks.
The only person, the very few players you could lose in New York and people treat you right, like Latrell Sprewell, because he'll kill you. Larry Johnson, you know what I mean? Charles Oakley, Ewing, because he was like a 7-foot Jamaican. Like, certain people you ain't just gonna argue with. But,
yeah. But overall, man, like, on the human side of me, who does deal with mental struggles every once in a while, he must be going through a lot for him to. If it's anybody who understands the moment, especially with him being the longest tenured Knick, him going through all the different phases of this New York Knicks organization, knowing what this moment means, is Mitchell Robinson. For him to kind of make that type of mistake, and him not being like a young player like that, like not a rookie, he must be going through a lot. So prayers to Mitchell Robinson. Hope everything's okay. Hopefully Mitchell Robinson is able to play and be effective in this series. But like Ken, like you said, just off a business standpoint, Mitchell Robinson, he wants the bag. And if you risking a championship for this team, you actually go against everything that the New York Knicks have been trying to build towards these past few years. Because if that was the case, they would have just kept Tom Thibodeau. As much as we like Mitchell Robinson, and as much as you can't find another Mitchell Robinson, if you can't get a Mitchell Robinson who's locked in up here, then what type of Mitchell Robinson do you really have? Salute to everybody for tuning in. Make sure you hit that like and subscription button. Helps the channel out a lot. But before we get out of here, man, we went on a little bit too long. Let's go ahead and get our quick X Factors. Gino, I'll start with you because we already know you're going to give San Antonio love. So, who is
straight up and down? My X Factor is going to be OG.
Oh,
straight up and down. It depends. A lot of the game depends on him, and it's like all of our key 1 and 2 have made the adjustments they needed to get better. I need OG to now. You're the third best player. You're defensive. You're our number 1 defender. I need that step up. I need that transitionary play where it's like, my concern is this win for San Antonio is as transformative as the win for the Knicks over Atlanta, where everyone kind of just locks into this committed style of play and everyone flourishes. I need I need OG to kind of just, hey, my hip is feeling better. I'm this. I studied the tape. I know what I need to do. I need that from him, where it's, hey, I could shoot. Wemby's guarding me. I'm shooting from deep. I'm making him get out the paint. Fast break. Make that French run. I had different F word. I had to catch myself. But
Ken, who's your X Factor, man?
Funny enough, I know I've been going every series since the first one, and it's been Mikal Bridges out the game, Mikal Bridges out the game, Mikal Bridges out the game. But this time I'm switching it up. And this one, my X Factor is the big bodega, big cat. That's it. Right there. My boy is gonna be close to a triple double every game. Every game. I'm calling it now. At least 8 assists a game.
okay, I was gonna say define close on the third.
I'd say close, right? Like he might not get to. He might not get that 10
I'll give
assists.
7. I'll give you a 7. I'll give you a 7 on the low side.
I'll give you 6.
Nah.
I
I need something more. I need closer to
I'll give you
70%. I need closer to 70%.
I'm telling you right now. This is the moment. I don't know why, and I'll keep it short. Those trade talks. Cat knows this is the moment right here where you finally say all those trade talks you wanted to send me for Giannis. Let me show you why you kept me, and he's gonna go big right here. This series right here.
I want to trade him for Giannis. Nah.
No, I'm not saying trade him for Giannis, but remember,
No.
Yeah. I know that. I'm saying like that was just that was
what I mean,
dumbest speculation when people were talking.
Remember how that affected him? That really did bother him. This is the moment where he looks at everybody. He looks at Leon Rose. You kept me, glad, but let me remind you why you didn't send me away.
Yeah, I agree. Because
I was gonna say that's a very accurate point, a very astute. I have a question for you. Just one question, real quick, if you don't mind, Malik. Do you think Cat's gonna get a Finals MVP? Do you think it's? That's my question.
I was gonna say it
because this is hold on. Let me just build the story real quick, Malik. I see the eyebrows. I'll be very brief.
What's up with the eyebrows? I'm agreeing.
You did this. So that's what I'm saying.
I'm agreeing.
I know. I'm gonna be brief so this way you can. Anyway,
you better build the story right.
NBA has a history of giving the players who work the hardest in the finals the chip, not necessarily the players who score the most in the chip. Do you think his performance is going to be that stellar that despite, for example, I think Wemby is going to average 40 points this series. I don't think it's going to be enough. I think he needs to average 50. Keep it a buck. And I think him being this is Wemby playing at his best level. That's what I'm saying. I think he's going to play his best. I think he's going to average 35 to 40 points a game. I'm thinking 40. I think they're going to lose still by 15 points. I just think Wemby's going to be that good. Do you think that Cat's going to have that level of performance where it's like, yo, we can ignore that because of how prolific and tremendous he's playing?
100%. I think that even Brunson's going to have a stellar series. And I think just Cat is going to be on another level. It means the world for everybody, but just like narratives, this hasn't left Cat's head right at all. That he almost got shipped out, and this is the moment he's gonna ball out. You're gonna see him having otherworldly shooting nights from the 3-point line, right? When they try and throw the smaller guys on him, he's gonna take them to the rim, and you're gonna see him not back down from Wemby when he gets matched up with Wemby. So we're gonna see a huge series out of Cat. This, I think, is also where we haven't seen much called for Cat, and I think this is where Mike Brown does it. I think he waited for this moment to hold back some of those cat plays that he has in the bag. He's held it so that there's no tape on it. You're gonna have to in the moment game plan for it. So
okay, I see where you're going with that.
I agree with that. Karl-Anthony Towns might be Finals MVP. I'm still gonna, if I had to bet on it, I'm gonna still say Jalen Brunson. To be honest with you, in my opinion, it's going to be interesting to see how the NBA feels because I still expect Brunson to still have his 25, 30 against the Spurs. He's cooked the Spurs. He career high against the Spurs with 61 games. He can cook the Spurs. I'm not worried about the Spurs.
Was that with Wemby? He had 61?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Here's how I think Karl-Anthony Towns can get that MVP. Gino, you think he's going to average 40? I think a lot of people believe that with Victor Wembanyama is going to go crazy. But if Karl Anthony Towns is his primary defender and Victor Wembanyama only averages like 25, 28 points to go along with Karl Anthony Towns' offensive numbers, that gets him the finals MVP, in my opinion.
I just have a question for you two now. This is just building off our previous conversations that we just had tonight. You telling me for that first half of the game when Cat saw him to him, right? Based off of what we established, like say this is the ideal. Cat's playing him for quarters 1 and 2, gets him tired. OG plays him 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
You tell me for those first 2 quarters, Cat is gonna dominate him defensively and keep him to a point where he's hitting like let's say 15 points in the first half.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If he hold on, wait a minute. Before you even go any further, that's not a prediction. I literally just said that I still think Jalen Brunson is getting the finals MVP. I think that's the pathway for Karl Anthony Towns to get that MVP.
Nah, that's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to
ask. Because I'll put it to you this way.
No, hold on.
No, let me finish. Let me finish real quick. Andre Iguodala didn't guard LeBron James every possession, did he?
No, he guarded him for most of the games, though. I think he had the most minutes guarding him.
So will Karl Anthony Towns. So that's my point.
No. This is why I was asking, because this is why I said like framed it was like first half, second half. Who's a primary defender? That's what I'm saying. Like, okay, if we're saying he's keeping him down to this, are you saying in those first 2? So essentially, he has 2 games of defense on him. OG has 2 games of defense on him.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying for those 2 games, if he has him completely locked down, no matter if his point productions, let's say 15, 10, and like 8.
Yep.
That's finals MVP, even if JB hits like, let's say, this is normal averages. Let's say like 20, 28, 28, 7, and like 3 rebounds.
I didn't say he could average 15. I didn't say that. But if he's getting 18, 12, and 8 assists, like Ken is talking about, and they switch Karl Anthony Towns to be in the hub of this offense, and then you pair that with the defense against Victor Wembanyama, and especially so hold on, and then especially how this league feels about Jalen Brunson, hell no, it would not surprise me if they gave Karl Anthony Towns the MVP, because we can't forget, you said you wanted to build a story, you didn't do it correctly. We have to remember about who Karl Anthony Towns is and what his name was as a defensive player all these years as well. We have to remember about him being a number 1 draft pick in the Minnesota Timberwolves and him not being able to advance anywhere until Anthony Edwards got there. You go to New York and especially with the trade talks this season, with you not knowing your role in the beginning of the season, and then you completely change your game on a whim and look like a dominant player, and then in the NBA Finals where everybody's saying this is Wemby's era, you hold him to 18 to 22 to 25 points in a series against a guy that everybody believes is going to get in foul trouble against him, is not going to be able to hold Victor Wembanyama, which is why OG Anunoby, who's like 8 inches shorter than him, should be the matchup. And if Karl Anthony Towns is the one to provide that defense as well as that offense and that near triple-double that Ken is talking about, yes, it's definitely a conversation if he should be the finals MVP for sure.
No, again, I'm not discrediting the finals MVP play. I'm just trying to make sure I understand how that fits within the entire team scheme. That's all. I'm trying to see. That's all. So, because my finals MVP, keep it buck, I got JB, right? But that's
me too.
That's because he's been putting in the work. He's been there longer. I think at a certain level of you're gonna give it to the guy who everyone else defers to as the captain, right? But I also think like I said before, I think Cat's a tremendous player. I think at all times, like you can't. If they're going to call Jalen Brunson the greatest Knick, Jalen Brunson is like 3A. Oh, sorry, he's like 3A, and Cat's 3B. Like they tie up right there. They don't. They're not better than Willis and Clyde. They got 2
We'll,
rings.
we'll have this conversation another
Yeah,
time.
but my
And
point being is
we'll
like
have
if
it
we're
another
talking about
time.
like these two people who are going to elevate the Knicks culture, I think those two are tied up. I think this series right here, as far as who gets a Finals MVP, can change as far as whose team it is going forward in the long term.
What? Who? What? Say that again?
I think whoever gets the Finals MVP, as far as between JB and Cat, like if Cat gets a Finals, like if Cat has that definitive Finals MVP run and gets the Finals MVP, I think the Knicks are going to shift the focus to saying like more or less like, nah, this is you have a little bit more leeway. This is more your team. Let's make sure we get a little bit more offense going towards Cat. Let's make sure this is more less focused on building around JB's guys and getting his team here. Cat, who let's try and get some players here to build around you. Let's try and get some assets and pieces and staff personnel that makes you a little bit more happy here in New York. I think that's the shift that will happen if he gets Finals MVP. I think it will change the way. Not to say JB is going to be like, "Oh, I'm leaving," but it's going to be that culture shift where it's just I shift slightly. You guys look like you guys disagree. Go ahead, say it. We've seen it happen numerous times where people who get the Finals MVP against the star, things shift for them. Not necessarily always positive, not always times negative.
Do you really believe this, or is this just a talking point?
No, I believe this. Like this has happened. We've seen this happen before. Where, for example, Indiana, where Danny Granger when he went down, and what's this guy? PG stepped up. They shifted that whole team the next season to focus on. Now they play a similar play style and they were able to slot a lot of plays, but they shifted that focus. Like, okay, yeah, he's there. They've done that in the OKC with when KD left, they shifted that whole team. They did it. They've done that again in the Warriors too with Monte Ellis and
but that's shifting and that's players leaving. I think that
for no, they final, packed, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I know that they packed them up and sent them Monte Ellis, but I think that to say that our Finals MVP for Cat is going to change this team slightly and make it more his team, that's not the case. They know whose team it is, and Cat even knows he's Robin to Batman, right? A Finals MVP isn't going to change that mentality, I don't think, and it also isn't going to cause a rift there. I think that Cat and JB have a really good relationship, and Cat knows, right? Like talks for him to get shipped out was never JB saying, "Hey, I want somebody else." It was never that. So don't think that change will shift. I think that now that the whole league has seen what the offense can look like with Cat also as a threat to be a facilitator, we'll see more of that next year, and we'll see a bump in our wins column. Right, we'll probably take the East. Wouldn't be number one next year, instilling that offense year round, having that option for an offense next year. But no, I don't see the shift happening. There's no.
Halliburton's back next year, right?
Honestly, that I'm not worried about Halliburton.
No, I'm just asking.
Yes, he should be back. He should be.
Tatum,
you never know how people
East is gonna be the East. I think the East is gonna be deeper next year than this year. So if they have a better record, then they're phenomenally better. I think they're gonna be pretty close though to the same record they have this year.
The only point I disagree with you is that they're going to question whose team it is after. Yeah. That's the only thing. That's the only thing I disagree with. If you want to run more of the offense through Karl-Anthony Towns, all right, cool. Because at the same time, this is a new Karl-Anthony Towns. Now we don't know what Karl-Anthony Towns' ceiling is. So if you want to look at it from that standpoint, I understand that. Like that's why your take's not necessarily like blasphemous. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe anybody's going to like question whose team it is. It's going to be like, well, Kevin Durant is the best player on the team, but it's Steph Curry's team. Like, I think it'll be like something along the lines of that. You know what I'm saying? But as far as like not building around Jalen Brunson and just building around like Karl-Anthony Towns be the fault, like, okay, we need to build around Karl-Anthony Towns now. I don't that's not a direction
No,
that the
I
New
didn't
York
say
Knicks are
like
going to go.
100%. Like we're gonna blow up this roster and make it 100% focused on Towns. I'm saying like we already know they're gonna be shifting some of the bench in and out.
Hmm.
I'm saying like every year so far they've been making sure to build more and more players around Brunson. I'm saying this year they might be like, you know what? Let's get some guys who could slot in for Cat. Let's get some guys who slot more into to make it facilitate his style of play. That's what I'm saying. I think we'll see an uptick in that if he becomes the Finals MVP. Things like that, where it's like more of a focus. Like we have a guy who can be number one at any given moment here. Let's put some pieces around him to make him a little bit more effective.
My
Right? It's
only pushback to that is that the regular season is 82 games, right? And the Knicks have played how many playoff games so far? They got to win 16, so they played 12 playoff games. So Jalen Brunson pretty much got them there, and it's the reason why the New York Knicks are in the NBA Finals for at least 90 of them. And because of what, 5, 6 games, they're just going to switch and be like, "Hey, we need to instead of us,
then
instead of us."
I think that's a very very disingenuous take on Cat.
How
To
was it
say
this? No, no, no. It's not disingenuous because Jalen Brunson is the guy to get them there. It's him. Karl Anthony Towns struggled for at least 60 games this year. What do you mean? It's a disingenuous? No, it's facts. He struggled for 2/3 of the season, not knowing his role. The numbers are down. The shots are down. I don't care. You can blame Mike Brown. I don't care. The facts are the facts. He struggled for 2/3 of the season. Jalen Brunson has been damn near excellent for most of the season. Yes, he had help from Mikal Bridges. Well, I mean, maybe. He had help from OG Anunoby, and he had help from that bench. Karl Anthony Towns did chip in every once in a while, yes. But Jalen Brunson's the guy that brought him here. And they built around Jalen Brunson, and they're building around Jalen Brunson is what got them to the NBA Finals. It just sounds kind of wild to me that because you win the finals, you be like, you know what, JB, we built around you. All the players we brought here is to build around your skill set. We just won the title. So you know what? Let's just build around Cat now. That don't sound a little crazy to you?
that well, if you're framing it that way, yeah, because you're missing one of the key parts where it's like, hey, Cat suddenly starts playing a very different style of basketball, and not only do we start winning, we start dominating at a high level. Right? That's a big difference.
So
Sorry.
let me interject here. The actual truth is this, right? Is that they when they go and retool, it's not going to be retooling for JB per se. It's not going to be retooling for Cat per se. It's going to be retooling for Mike Brown and his system. That's the truth of the matter. Don't matter who wins the Finals MVP. They handed the keys to this man with a roster he didn't pick, and he got them up to par with his system, and they are here in the finals, right? And whether you agree with it or not, Gino,
I
they
don't
weren't
agree
making
either.
it. They weren't
No,
making it
that's
with they
yeah.
weren't making it with Tibbs, and I'll say that right now. We weren't making it with Tibbs,
All
whether
right,
you guys agree or
let's let
not.
Ken get the last word. Let's let Ken get the last word on
No,
this.
no, no,
No, no, no, no, no. Hell
There's
no.
always room for rebuttal. There's always room for rebuttal. But I'll end it like this. Even when the naysayers were calling them out, right? I said this offense was more efficient under Mike Brown, and he did it with a roster he inherited, right?
Mhm.
Give him a couple pieces that he prefers in the rotation, and let him keep developing some of these younger guys. We'll really see the full Mike Brown system flourish. One season of him coming in and saying, "Hey, listen, this is how we're gonna play. This is how, compared to what you did last year, compared to this season, this is what we're doing, and we're gonna go deeper into the bench and actually trust people. This is the difference, right?" And he said it. He brought that over from the Steve Kerr, from the pop. Like I love Mike's pressers because he's honest, he's humble, he gives credit where credit's due. Tells everybody like great coaching you take from everybody else and you get better. And he learned to get to this point you have to go deep in the bench during the season because you're playing for this, not for the season. And because God forbid there's injuries, you got to be able to trust your bench in the season in case they get called up next man up, and they're ready for the moment. So the Mike Brown system and his coaching did make a big difference for us. Was this team already great? Was this team poised for championship? It was, but we weren't doing it under Tibbs.
No, Tibbs.
We weren't doing it under Tibbs. Straight up.
Gino, can I go before you? Go ahead.
I got nothing. I got no other rebuttal. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You got nothing to rebuttal? I thought you had nothing to rebuttal.
Nah. I'm gonna let Ken get that one off. That was clean.
I'm not. Hell no. Hell no. What? No, hell no. He better coach with Leon Rose. He better coach with Leon Rose. Give him. You hold up now, because I said hey, look.
Mm-hmm.
You know the I gave Karl Anthony Towns the accountability, but it took Mike Brown a while to figure that out too. So, hey, look, it could be a collaborative effort, like it's been, but he does deserve a little bit more respect. But next season, letting Mike Brown just be like, hey, you know what? We need to go get this guy, and the New York Knicks are like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Man, hell no. I'm not.
I don't think it's going to be a massive roster reach.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the bench.
Yeah.
It better be a collaborative effort. I don't care. I'm not. Do not give Mike Brown all that power. It's working how it is.
100%.
Hey, look. Hey, let Leon do what Leon do.
Mm-hmm.
Mike, you figure out a way to coach him. That's his job. Period. Look, collaborative. Yes. We would like to hear your opinion on this, but we building a team. Your job is to coach. Period. They just went through that with Tom Thibodeau, where he wants his guys. They're not going to do the same thing with Mike Brown. They're not going to do that. You better coach what Leon Rose gives you and make it work.
So, quick rebuttal on that, right? Mike, right, compared to Tibbs, they went and got Tibbs guys just so Tibbs.
He still wouldn't play him.
Just wouldn't play him. You knew where I was going. Malik, this is why you're my guy. You knew where I was going. Malik, you knew where I was going.
Like, I know what you mean.
Like, you my guy. You knew it once you said it. It was you threw the assist up, the alley for me, right? Like you said it. But no, I completely agree. It's not you just hand over the full power. But what I am saying is that you look at what players might be on the way out, and they sit down and they say, hey, do we throw the bag at these guys, or is there an upgrade that you think might work for the system that we might be able to save money on? Because we got to keep the starting five. We got to keep Landry Shamet, because Shamet just earned that money, right? So when looking at it, yeah, right? Like, they're gonna sit down and look at it, and they're gonna be like, all right, big names that we maybe at the beginning of the season we weren't too sure we're gonna stay. They're staying. Shamet barely made that roster. He's staying.
Mike better coach what he got. Yeah, look.
Right. I hear you. Listen, he definitely. You know what? He coached with what he got, and he coached with what.
Hey, but hold on. I will say this: they brought in Jordan Clarkson after they hired Mike Brown. They brought in Garshawn Yabusele after they hired Mike Brown. Mm-hmm. He ain't played them. So, in fairness to Tibbs, I'm just saying it happens on both. When's the last time you seen Jordan Clarkson, Ken?
Listen, 100%. I get it. Listen,
I'm just saying.
He faded out that Cavs series. Nowhere to be found.
I'm just saying. Now we understand why, though. I'm not ragging on Mike Brown about that. It's been the adjustment. We understand, but I'm just saying. Like, I get what you're saying.
And we could potentially see my boy Jordan Clarkson back in the Spurs series. You never know.
I honestly think we're gonna need him. I'm gonna be real with you.
I think so too, because that bench is, like I said, bench is gonna be very key in the series. But no, I like it. Like I said, Mike Brown's been coaching with whoever Leon Rose gave him. And
You
Mike Brown
better stick with it.
and Mike Brown's been coaching with everybody Tibbs didn't want to play. So,
You better stick with that. Hey, Tibbs, who do you not want to play? Let me go get them. If you want to operate like that, I'm cool. But it's respect to Mike Brown though. He's earned his respect, man. He earned a little bit more input on what the franchise does, man. I'm just, I just don't want to mess things up. Anybody got but predictions? Let's go ahead and ramble them off so we can get off this show. I got Knicks in 5. I'll go with Knicks in 6. I'll give the Spurs respect. Just because of them nightmares.
I already said Knicks in 5 from the jump, so we're not even entertaining this. I
was like, 6.
I called the Knicks in 4, sweeping through the 76ers.
Now you called that 5.
Huh?
No, you called that one 6, actually. I called that 5, yeah. The 76ers was, yeah. The Cavs were 4. Sorry. Yeah.
The Cavs
had to correct you there.
Right. So I think that as I've watched more of them, they play further and longer, it's been more of this nice, confident build. So I got the Knicks in 5. Like I said, I think, despite what Renzo says, I think Wemby's just going to have a monster series.
What are you talking about? He agrees with you. He says Knicks in 5.
He's talking about. Oh no, I'm talking about Wemby having a monster series. He was saying like, Wemby not going to do that. But
he's not. I agree with Renzo. He's not averaging 40. We can talk about that in another show. I know you said you got to go, so we'll talk about it in another show. I don't think he's averaging 40. I don't. But salute to everybody tuning in. Oh, Ken, you said Knicks in 6, 5.
Knicks in 6. We're gonna get a great performance out of Scott Foster, the extender, in at least 2 of these games. So shout out to the 6th man of the year coming off the bench for San Antonio, the extender.
You're right. Knicks in 6. I forgot about them boys. Oh man, Tony Brothers and Scott Foster refereeing at the same time the other night. I was like, oh man, we know what they trying to do. But yeah, man, I got Knicks in 6. But at the end of the day, 4 more wins, man. 4 more wins. Just get it done. Like in the words of Karl Anthony Towns to Jalen Brunson, while Jalen Brunson sitting there stone face, looking at the people celebrate. 4 more wins, dog. 4 more wins. But that's going to be it for us. Salute to everybody for tuning in of this edition of Blackout Sports. Make sure you hit that like button. Helps the channel out a lot. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Better see Let's Go Knicks in the comments. Shout out to the replay gang. And we appreciate y'all because y'all could have been anywhere in the world, but y'all were here with us. And we appreciate that. Let's Go Knicks. Ken and Gino will have coverage. I will be in New York. Not going to tell y'all why yet, but stay tuned. Know what I mean? Peace out. We Blackout.